This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
That is Joe Schad. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Yeah, Big O, definitely better. Thanks for asking.
All right. That's good. How's the pool? You been in the pool yet, or what? What's the deal?
It's really good, man. Yeah, we're excited about it. I can't keep my daughter out of it, so she's swimming in there multiple times a day.
Oh, that's the normal thing is they do it for a couple of months and then you'll never use it again.
We'll see. Even if nobody swims in it, the pool guy is still going to come once a week. It'll be clean and it'll look good from the living room.
Yeah, exactly. And you can have some parties and people can be, mingling around. So we're waiting for the Big O Show party at Joe Schad's pool.
If you pay me $1,500, we can host a show from my backyard.
Look at that. $1,500. We got a sponsor. Let's go. Cough it up. $1,500 and we can host a show from Joe's backyard.
There you go.
Lord. All right. What'd you think about that Dwayne Haskins story, man? Huh? Is that
sad?
How crazy is that? Sad,
yeah,
right?
Very, very, very sad. Obviously.
Yeah. What a shame, man. It's
we have to find out. We obviously have to find out more about what happened and why it happened. Why was he walking on that highway? Very sad.
I would imagine his car broke down or something, right? That's what I was thinking. I don't know. I haven't heard. Have you heard anything about this story? You know who I feel for, Joe? If it was by an accident, I feel bad for the truck driver too, because if that man, it was an accident, he didn't, kill him on purpose. He wasn't drunk driving or anything. That man has to also live with this too for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I guess he didn't stop though, huh?
Oh, he didn't? I didn't know that.
Oh, I haven't read all the reporting, so I don't know if he stopped.
Well, I didn't know that. What do you got, Sean?
Sean?
The report I saw on WSVN, he had stopped and was cooperating.
Oh, good.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Thanks,
right.
Sean.
Okay.
Thanks,
so yeah,
Sean. I'm glad he stopped. It's important. There's nothing worse than the hit and run. So I'm glad.
But can you imagine living with that if he didn't do it on purpose? I mean, that's got to be bad for him too. You know what I mean? So this is just a terrible story all the way around. Did you see Gil Brandt's reaction?
Yeah, obviously that was inappropriate and disappointing. Gil is a legend. Gil is a legend in the football scouting community. And you hate at this very end of his career. Obviously, he's 90 years old or so, and I'm sure that he was getting ready to shut things down from a professional broadcasting perspective. I think maybe it's time for him to just go ahead and shut things down and focus on spending time with his family.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing because those comments were just completely out of line.
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit telling in terms of how old school, especially football people, look at football players. And this is not to suggest that Gil Brandt doesn't have decent human fiber in his body, but what came out in that interview
there was no decency there. Yeah.
But not the indecency, the fact that athletes are considered, by many general managers and owners and coaches as commodities.
I know, but you're such a nice guy. You're such a good dude, bro. I love you because you say that it's old school when he's a freaking Neanderthal for thinking like that. You know what I mean? You say old school, I'll say Neanderthal because there's no place for that, bro. There's none.
Yeah, that wasn't the time and place to go into all of the details of everything you've ever heard about Dwayne Haskins going back to his decision to enter the NFL.
Yeah. Let's all unearth everything we've done as teenagers and early 20s too, right? Let's all do that because we all live perfect lives as teenagers in our early 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, Gil Brandt did a very poor job, no question, very poor job. But the point I want to make is that he's 90 years old. There are some college coaches and NFL coaches probably and NFL general managers who are 40, 50 years old who think the same way.
Stanky Fingers.
Which guy?
Stanky Fingers. Who's Stanky Fingers?
Who's that?
Who got busted with stanky fingers this year and got fired from the Jags.
So you're saying that Urban Meyer, is not necessarily someone
he kicks his players. He threatens to fire them all over the place. Yeah, that's one of those dudes that thinks like that. Yeah.
There was a video that came out not long ago where there was a player at his pro day who his Achilles exploded and nobody came out to no coach, no scout, went over to him. They just said, move the drill. And they moved the drill. And, coaches look at themselves sometimes as sergeants in an army, right? They look at their next man up. You always hear these war references. We're going into battle. It's our home field. And I think sometimes we need to pause and realize that this is not war. It's important, and it's a lot of money on the line and people's livelihoods, but it's not war. It's not war.
No, it's not. It's not. Now, there is a warrior ready for war, and his name is Mike McDaniel. So I don't know if you watched the Tua Luau, but I heard McDaniel's going to do that pre-game now on the field to kind of intimidate the opponent. Now I don't know if you heard the same thing, but that was what did you think of the warrior McDaniel?
Yeah, it's really cool that Mike McDaniel is comfortable in his own skin, and he doesn't really care what you think of him. There are all these words that are used to describe Mike McDaniel. Oh, he's quirky, he's eccentric, he's cerebral, he's a little nerdy, but he's got a little bit of flair and style and swag. It's this very interesting mixture of personality traits. And I'm looking forward to getting to know him better. I know the players are already enjoying being around him. And I know it meant a lot to Tua that Mike McDaniel was there and participated.
For sure.
And
other coaches and
other
Marino.
coaches were there,
Yeah. And Joe, I get it, dude. Results are what's everything, and you got to win, and you got to get to the playoffs, and ultimately, that's how you prove everything. That's how Stephen Ross proves he's a great owner, right? Even though he does everything else great, right? He'll buy any player, facility, he'll build a new practice facility, he'll save the tennis tournament, he'll add an F1. I mean, the guy's a freaking great owner, but you can't get that label great until you win. So I get all of that is done. Okay? So we can erase all of that, okay? I get what the real end of the equation is, folks. All right, let's move on. The fact that he's doing this and the fact that the coaches are there and everything else, what I like is what didn't exist last year. There wasn't an actual, we just talked about Gil Brandt not showing any kind of humanity. Well, there's plenty of humanity going on right now, and there's a lot of connection going on from the coaches and the quarterback and the team and all of that.
I mean, one thing I worry about, just to be honest, because this is going to be a recurring.
Let me finish here. Organically, you are at least setting the foundation for success. Whether it happens or not, that's up to the players, the coaches, and Tua. Obviously, we all know that. But what we have to say is, at least organically, he is setting the right foundation and making the right impression on his players and his coaches.
So listen, we love it, right? It's fun. He's fun. Everything's fun. Everybody's happy and smiling, and I'm all for it. Okay, he's going to be cooperative with the media, but he knows he needs to win. But one thing that I've been thinking about is, Brian Flores, watching all this and listening to all this, and thinking that maybe it's a little too far. Maybe the piling on, that there's going to be a continuous piling on of Brian Flores was a draconian monster. You know what I mean? I think one thing I'm
piling on, or is it just reality? Is it piling on, or is it just reality?
So we might not like Brian Flores' personality. We might not like the way he dealt with the media. We might not like the way he spoke to some players. But I don't think he's some monster. I think he thought he was doing what was in the best interest of helping his football team win based on the Belichick experience. So one thing I'm going to try to be a little cautious about is it's okay to compliment and be enthusiastic and excited about all that Mike McDaniel is bringing and not necessarily have to sort of, and I'm not saying it's not okay for you to do this, but we're just maybe not every single time repeatedly pile on with how, different that is from Flores. I mean, it's obvious. Everybody knows at this point.
Oh, wait a minute. In this whole conversation so far, I didn't bring up Flores. You brought up Flores. I didn't bring up that he would have never done that, which is true. He would have never done that. Probably he wouldn't even attended the damn luau. He probably wouldn't even want to be next to Tua anyways as it is.
But didn't you bring up Flores, though? Didn't you bring up Flores?
No, I don't think I brought up, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But here's my thing with what you're saying now. Maybe they're just being themselves, and it's not a matter of trying to show up Flores or show up that this is different now or anything like that. That might be the impression you get on the outside, and others might get like, wow, this is completely different and all that. But they're not going out of their way to tell you, hey, we're different than Brian. We do different. No, they don't do anything. I think Mike McDaniel is just being himself.
He is. I mean, from a media,
we're the ones that are going to then define what we see. So you define it one way as, well, let's not show up Flores. I define it as, it looks like they're just being themselves.
No, I'm making the point that I'm trying to catch myself as a Twitterer, as a Twitterer and an Instagrammer and a column writer. Every single time we compliment McDaniel and his approach and his style and his ability to connect to people, I'm going to try to not slam Flores. Like at a certain point, you got to turn the page and be like,
you're right. You're right. We are doing that. I
think the reason that Flores is still kind of hanging around is because of this lawsuit. If there wasn't this ongoing lawsuit, it would be easier to just not talk about him.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right about that.
So,
no, you're right.
He obviously he and his attorneys want to be continuously in the news cycle. He doesn't want his lawsuit to go away, which, I understand. He has good intentions relative to minority hiring practices.
Yes, you're right about that. All right, so what else did you pick up from the luau?
Well, I didn't go to the luau.
I know.
There was only one print journalist there. I believe it was Safid Din.
Okay.
From the Gannett Network, he's my work colleague now. So that was good. It was more of a television event Mike Cunha hosted. And so I just sort of watched some of the Instagram stuff. But I think, I'm looking forward to our next conversation with Tua. He has not spoken since Flores' departure. I know he just said to move on from Flores, but obviously we need to get, Tua's take on that change because he has not spoken about it since the change. I'm sure that he's going to be highly complimentary of McDaniel, and I'm sure he'll also compliment and thank Flores publicly for pushing him, I guess, to be a better quarterback. I don't know. You think? Let me ask you this: do you think he will say something nice about Flo? I think he will. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah,
he'll say something nice.
He rises above that, bro. He's not.
He'll say something nice.
He will always say something nice. He's not that guy. He's not going to do that.
Yeah, when Tua says something,
Aaron Rodgers would have ripped him an ass, or would have said something, and LeBron would have done his whole passive aggressive crap. But no, this guy he's different than most of us, bro.
Yeah, with Tua, you got to kind of read between the lines. Sometimes he tells you stuff in a nice, polite way.
My brother, all you had to do by the end of the year is read his face. That it wasn't the same guy that you guys had.
I knew it. I knew it. I mean,
you just see it.
You had sources telling you, but I agree with you. I could just read the vibe and be like, these guys don't like each other.
No, not only that,
these guys don't like each other.
Face as the year went on, you could tell it was weighing on him. he wasn't having any fun anymore and all
We're
that
gonna
stuff.
find out. We're gonna find out. One day, maybe we'll write.
Right.
Maybe one day, maybe we'll write. Flores was right.
Right.
It should have been Deshaun Watson or Tom Brady. You know?
Right.
Or whoever.
I don't think that will be the case, but we have to leave that out there for you to, give it as an option. But no, yes, unfortunately, yes. I think I
think that Tua being more relaxed and not yelled at as much, and maybe not yelled at is not the right word. Prodded,
I don't think Saban,
not yelled. It's prodded psychologically, right?
Right.
I think that not
how about being
prodded,
treated like a professional instead of being treated like.
And he was a young player. I mean, coaches push young players. I think the concept of Brian Flores pushing Tua to study more and work harder and be a better leader, that in itself is not terrible. Maybe it's just the methods.
Right.
And here I go talking about flow again. It's like the ex-girlfriend or the ex-wife.
You love that flow story. You should have been in that love fest with Omar and the boys in that podcast. Because that was, they were passing around the peace pipe on that one.
Which part did I miss? On Flo?
Yeah, when they had Flo in that podcast.
Oh, when Flo was on the podcast. Some of Omar's faces were funny in that.
Oh yeah, that was a love fest in that one. All right, what are you working on?
Credit to Omar Kelly for being a part of a very big podcast. They're getting good guests, including Jalen Waddle. Yeah.
And credit to him pulling an extra check. All right. Listen, what are you working on the Palm Beach Post so folks can check you out?
I need to pay for this pool, Big O.
That's right. $1,500. Let's go. Sponsor, step up.
I'm serious too.
You got to give me that the info for that landscaper that you gave him 1 star. Maybe we can get him more business and give him a few more stars there. Jesus.
I had a guy do my staircase. This guy did our staircase. You remember all the drilling and the sawing and the vacuuming and everything. It's done.
And you gave him 2 stars.
So he calls me up and he goes, "Hey, I want to ask you to do me a favor. Can you do this, positive review for me?" I said, "Yeah, of course. You guys did an amazing job." He goes, "Well, will you give me 5 stars?" I think he heard I think more people see me on this thing than I realize.
This
American
show
Dream
gets
Lending
around. This show gets around, my brother.
The American Dream Lending sponsored segment. One of my neighbors, Facebook messaged me like, "Man, your pool looks great. I just saw the segment with Big O when I was holding up the camera to the phone."
There you go.
She was so I think more people
last week we had Henry Revolta on, who's a boxing promoter, and he's in the Hall of Fame in the state of Florida as a boxing promoter, and he's been in the boxing business for a long time. And next month, Hiley is going to have a boxing card, and he's going to be a part of it. So I had him on the show last week. He heard from 2 of his friends that he hadn't heard from in 20 years. One guy 18, the other one was 20-something years. 2 guys he hadn't heard from because they follow the show. And so they saw him, and then they tracked him down after that. So that tells you, it's been pretty cool the way the show gets around. It's gotten
Big O. Is it Yves Cham? Is it Yves?
Yves, yes.
Yves Cham. He's getting his money's worth here. The American Dream Lending. Let me tell you.
He is.
Listen. You asked me what I'm working on. I'm going to think about if I have some take on this whole Brady Payton thing. All right, I know it's heating up again. A lot of people writing and talking about it. And then I also want to write about how Jalen Phillips is my breakout star prediction for 2022. So look for that.
I like it.
On the Palm Beach Post website.
There you go. And follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe. And make sure you keep that Palm Beach Post subscription alive every single month, baby. Support the boys. They get it done all the time, including Hal Habib, who's an ass kicker in his own right.
Love Hal.
I love Hal. Hal's my guy, bro. All right, Joe. Appreciate you, my brother. You're my guy. Appreciate you. We will catch up with you later in the week, my friend. Enjoy that pool.
All right, work on the backyard sponsor. See you, bud.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Schad.
This is the Big O Show.